Most people don't fail with money because they don't know what to do. They fail because they don't keep doing it long enough for it to work. They build a system. They follow it for a few days or maybe a few weeks, and then something changes. Life gets busy, an unexpected expense shows up, motivation drops, or they simply stop paying attention. And once that consistency breaks, the system starts to fall apart. That's the pattern. Not lack of knowledge, not lack of ability, but lack of permanence. Because a system only works if it continues working. And if your system depends on constant attention, constant motivation, or constant discipline, it's not permanent. It's temporary. That's what we're fixing today. Because at this point, you've built everything you need. You have structure, you have rules, you have awareness, and you have direction. But none of that matters if it doesn't hold over time. So today is about locking everything in, making your system something that continues working even when you're not focused on it. Because that's what creates real progress. Not what you do once, but what keeps happening consistently over time. And once your system becomes permanent, everything changes. You stop starting over. You stop rebuilding. You stop losing progress. And instead, you start compounding it. That's the difference between trying and building. Step 1 is simplifying your system to the point where it can run without resistance. Most people think complexity equals control, but it actually creates friction. The more steps your system requires, the more decisions you have to make, and the more likely it is that something gets skipped. A permanent system is not detailed, it's repeatable. That means your structure should be clear enough that you can follow it without thinking. Your categories should be simple. Your rules should be easy to remember. And your process should be something you can execute quickly. Because if your system requires too much attention, it will eventually be ignored. That's why simplification is not reducing effectiveness. It's increasing sustainability. You're removing anything that doesn't directly contribute to consistency. And once your system becomes simple enough to follow easily, it becomes something you can maintain long term. Step 2 is removing reliance on motivation entirely. This is one of the biggest shifts you can make. Most people rely on how they feel to determine how they manage their money. If they feel motivated, they follow the system. If they feel stressed or distracted, they don't. But motivation is inconsistent. It fluctuates based on your environment, your energy, and your focus. So if your system depends on motivation, it will never be stable. That's why permanence requires automation and structure. Your bills are scheduled. Your savings are automatic. Your allocations happen without needing a decision. This removes the emotional layer from your system. You're no longer deciding in the moment. You're following a process that already exists. And once that process is in place, your system continues working whether you're paying attention or not. Step 3 is building a weekly reset that keeps your system aligned without requiring daily effort. Even a strong system needs maintenance, but that maintenance should be minimal and predictable. A weekly check-in is enough. You review your accounts, confirm your structure is holding, and make small adjustments if needed. This prevents small issues from becoming larger problems. It keeps your system clean, organized, and functional. And because it's scheduled, it becomes part of your routine instead of something you have to remember. This is how you maintain control without constant involvement. You're not managing your money every day. You're maintaining a system that manages it for you. Step 4 is creating clear boundaries around your system so it doesn't get broken under pressure. This is where most people lose progress. Something unexpected happens, and they abandon their structure instead of adjusting within it. But a permanent system doesn't break, it adapts. That means you need rules for how to handle disruptions. If an expense comes up, you know where the money comes from. If something changes, you adjust categories instead of abandoning the system entirely. These boundaries protect your progress. They ensure that one disruption doesn't undo everything you've built. And that protection is what allows your system to remain stable over time. Step 5 is reinforcing your system through visibility. What you see consistently, you follow consistently. So it means your system should be visible enough that it stays top of mind without requiring effort. This could be as simple as having your categories clearly labeled, your accounts separated, or a quick reference of your rules. The goal is not constant tracking. It's constant awareness. Because awareness keeps you aligned without needing to think about it. And when your system is visible, it becomes part of your environment instead of something separate from it. Step 6 is aligning your identity with your system. This is where permanence becomes automatic. Instead of seeing your system as something you're trying to follow, you start seeing it as how you operate. You are someone who plans ahead. You are someone who follows structure. You are someone who manages money intentionally. That shift matters because behavior follows identity. When something becomes part of how you see yourself, it no longer requires effort to maintain. It becomes your default. So your action for today is to simplify your system, automate it, create a weekly reset, define your boundaries, make it visible, and align it with your identity. Because once you do this, your system stops being something you manage and becomes something that runs. And when your system runs consistently, your progress becomes permanent. The daily yield, because we're building real financial progress, one step at a time.